Imagine finding a tiny shiny rock, and within months, over 300,000 people are racing toward your town. Cities appear almost overnight. Ships are abandoned in harbors. People quit their jobs. Families sell everything they own. All because of one thing: gold. But here's what most people don't know. The vast majority of the people who rushed to California never became rich. So, what actually happened during the California Gold Rush? Let's go back to 1848. It all started with one man, James Marshall. On January 24th, 1848, Marshall was building a sawmill for a businessman named John Sutter near the American River in California. While inspecting the water, he noticed something sparkling on the riverbed. At first, he wasn't even sure what it was. He picked it up. It was small, yellow, heavy. Marshall had a feeling he'd just found gold. But there was one problem. Neither he nor Sutter wanted anyone else to know. If word got out, their workers would leave. The sawmill project would stop. Their land would be overrun. So they tried to keep it secret. It didn't work. Within weeks, rumors began spreading. People whispered about gold in California. Some believed it, others laughed, until someone walked into town carrying real gold nuggets. Now nobody was laughing. News spread across California, then across America, then across the world. By 1849, everything changed. Thousands of people packed their belongings. Farmers left their fields. Blacksmiths closed their workshops. Teachers quit teaching. Doctors left their patients. Some people sold their homes. Just to buy a shovel? These people became known as the 49ers, named after the year they arrived. Getting to California wasn't easy. There were three main routes. You could travel across the United States by wagon. A journey of nearly 2,000 miles. You could sail all the way around South America. A trip that often took 5 months. Or you could sail to Panama, cross the jungle on foot, then board another ship to California. None of the routes were safe. Disease, storms, accidents, and exhaustion claimed many lives before they ever saw a single piece of gold. But those who finally arrived were greeted by chaos. Tents covered hillsides. Wooden buildings appeared almost overnight. Small villages exploded into booming towns. One of those places was San Francisco. Before the gold rush, it was a tiny settlement. Just a few years later, it had become one of the fastest growing cities in the world. Ships filled the harbor every single day. So many sailors abandoned their ships to search for gold that dozens of empty vessels simply sat there, rotting. Now imagine finally reaching California. You've spent months traveling. You've risked everything. You pick up a pan, walk into a river, and begin searching. This process was called panning. You filled the pan with sand and gravel, then gently swirled the water. Because gold is much heavier than ordinary rocks, tiny flakes slowly settled at the bottom. Sometimes you found nothing. Sometimes you found enough to buy dinner. And every once in a while, someone discovered a large gold nugget. Stories of those lucky few spread everywhere, making even more people believe their fortune was waiting just around the next river bend. But reality was much harder. As more miners arrived, finding gold became increasingly difficult. The easiest deposits disappeared first. Soon, people needed better tools, larger equipment, and more money. Many independent miners simply gave up. Some returned home with less money than they started with. Others stayed, taking whatever jobs they could find. Ironically, some of the richest people during the gold rush never mined for gold at all. They sold shovels, picks, boots, food, clothing, hotels, transportation, and nearly everything else the miners needed. One businessman named Levi Strauss arrived in California hoping to make money during the gold rush. Instead of mining, he sold durable work clothes. Those clothes eventually became something almost everyone recognizes today: blue jeans. Sometimes, the real gold wasn't in the ground. It was selling supplies to the people searching for it. The gold rush transformed California forever. Roads expanded, railroads followed, businesses opened, new towns became permanent cities. California's population exploded. Only 2 years after gold was discovered, California officially became the 31st state of the United States. One tiny discovery in a river had completely changed the future of an entire region. But the gold rush also had a darker side. The sudden arrival of hundreds of thousands of people placed enormous pressure on the land and its original inhabitants. Many Native American communities were displaced, suffered violence, or lost access to their traditional lands and resources. Rivers were altered by mining. Forests were cut down. Entire landscapes changed. The search for gold created opportunity for some, but it also came with lasting human and environmental costs. By the late 1850s, the Great Rush had slowed. The easiest gold was gone. Many miners packed up and left. Others remained. Building businesses, farms, and communities. California was no longer just a place where people searched for gold. It had become a place where people built new lives. Today, people still search for gold in California. Some even find tiny flakes. But the days of becoming rich overnight are long gone. The California Gold Rush wasn't just about gold. It was about hope, risk, greed, adventure, and one powerful idea: that your life could change forever just by finding one small rock in a river. Subscribe for more bad drawings and interesting facts. Thanks for watching.